Hello, and welcome to another review of my trades. So, this is for the 1st of April. So, that's the day I made 3,375. I was in a good roll. Since then, I've kind of lost 3 days in a row. I did actually win on a Sunday. It's not showing up here, somewhere around here, but what I'm trying to do in through these trades is journal, and at the end of this I want to then dissect all my trades. So I've got a few more journal entries to complete, and once I'm done I will then dissect my trades to understand my rationale, or I guess why did I actually do it, what's my weaknesses, what's my strength, and how could I do it better. And my goal with these sessions with you is to inculcate a habit of journaling. Now, this tool that I use is TradeSwiss. You don't have to use the exact same tool. There are other tools available in the market as well. You pick what works for you. My goal is just to educate you on what's available, how to navigate using tools by yourself, and kind of create a practice for you to embed this into your daily routine. Now, this is really important. Embedding journaling into your daily routine has the greatest reward for the time spent. And that's why I'm so eager to do these over anything and everything that I could prioritize my time with. So, without further ado, let's start with this $2,775 trade. I only used one contract of ES features, so really small. I kept this trade for 6 hours. That's that's primarily what I'm looking for. A few other metrics that I'd like to address and see. So if I had kept it for end of day, I would have just made $25. The best exit would have given me 5,149 if I kind of kept it along for about 2 hours instead of 6 hours. So I guess at some point, and if you look into this journal, you can also tell and see. So I sold it at the topmost, but if I kind of kept it more, it would have given me a greater profit. Now let me see and dissect this for you a little more. So I'm going to start off with the 5 minute time frame, and on the 5 minute time frame you can see I shorted it over here. This was about at 3:30 p.m. I shorted it close to the 50 EMA on the top. So assuming that the market would change direction and kind of drop, it used the 50 EMA as a strong boundary line, and it kind of spiked up. I didn't close. I kind of moved my stop loss. I would say I was more gracious with my stop loss here. Took it at a good position, so I had a little more room before I could, and then it kind of dipped. Now, if I had to continue, I would have ended up with a $5,000 profit, and I guess that's what it was trying to show me there in that chart. Now, this is the 5 minute time frame. Now I'm going to see the 1 hour time frame. Where is my 1 hour candles? Yeah, took it over here. Let me zoom in because this is a juicy trade. So took it at the top, assuming that the market would change direction. So I kind of held it through a bit of chop, assuming that the market would fall. It did spike up and then dip down, and I sold it over here. Now the reason why I sold it at the 200 is because that's the 200 is like a really precious line that is highly respected. This is the 1 hour time frame that I'm looking at. Now it could potentially bounce back, and that's why I shot it. I closed my position over here. But what happens though is that if the trend is strong, you would see that these trades tend to break through it fairly easily, and it did. It kind of went a little lower. I didn't see any previous support for it to kind of bounce back, but it did. Now I'm going to look into the 4 hour just to get some better insights. I'm going to zoom in so it helps both of us. So yeah, it broke to the 50 EMA. Now, again, these are just derivations of the same moving averages. So what's the 200 in the 1 hour time frame is 50 in the 4 hour time frame. So it did break to this as well, which is the 20 EMA, went straight down and then it bounced back. Let me see what is the 1 day. So this is the daily time frame. So the daily time frame took it over here, shot it over here. So I think there was no rhyme and reason why it kind of, maybe it used this yellow line, which is, I think this is the 200, this is the 300, 400. So I've kind of taken like hundreds each. So this is 200, 300, 400. So maybe that was the moving average that kind of bounced back off. Maybe it used this line, maybe it used this. Could be various factors. And this is back to the 5 minute. So I have an idea of what my trend was. It was juicy, it was good, it was rewarding. I took it at a really good position, didn't have too much risk on this trade. And now I'm going to start journaling it. So the first thing I'll do is to predict what kind of trade was this. Not predict, assess what kind of trade was this. So I look at the 1 hour time frame. That's how I build my journals on. So it was kind of trending upwards. I predicted that it's going to exhaust on the higher time frame and start declining. So I took this shot. Okay, so I'm going to label this as a exhaustion play. Now, the main fundamental way of deciding if you should step into a trade is you need to, and I extremely stress this, is you need to know what a trade is before going in. Now, you subconsciously do it, but it's a good practice to actually write it down, or at least have a plan. Create like a small note. It doesn't have to be fancy. Every trade you take, have a reason why, where you're going to enter, where you're going to exit, what is a good position to exit, what's your stop loss, how many I guess contracts would you take. And I'm trading futures, ES futures. That's my core specialty. I don't branch out into any other commodities yet. Now, I do know, and I've traded them in the past, and my experience is that each of these charts have a different way of reacting to the market, and I prefer to stick to my core strengths, which is trading futures and maintaining that as my bread and butter. So, okay, exhaustion play, direct shot, and I'm now going to go and select my options, which is so this is going to be, I'm going to now assess if this was, where did I take my position? So I took an exhaustion play at, let's look at the 1 hour time frame. Took it at the 10 EMAs. If I zoom in, I took my exhaustion play at the, I would say close to the 5 EMA position. So I'm going to write that down, or I guess document that as a tag. Now I'm going to show you in a different video on how I assess my tags. So that's coming soon as well. So 1 hour underscore exhaustion. And I'm going to put in, I took it at the 5 EMA. So my exhaustion started at the 5, which is a really good, healthy play to take it in. And my exhaustion started, it's between the 20 and the 50. So let's see, what do I put in? It's a little high over the 20, but below the 50. So I would put in the 20. So 5-minute exhaustion, and I would put in at the 20 EMA. Okay, Now, the next is I would like to assess my crossovers. So if I look at my moving average crossovers, and I like doing it is because it tells me a bit about the direction or the long-term trend. So I took it at the end of a bull run. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. So bull end. So I'm kind of documenting is that just before the moving average started crossing, I took it there. Now, what about the 5-minute time frame? Where did I take it? So it was still declining.